Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to be reviewing Hunter x Hunter chapter 398. So, this one was very, confusing. We're jumping back into the main story now after the Phantom Troop flashback, and it was, definitely a big transition, because we just hopped back into, following around the Phantom Troop and stuff like that, and, it was, it was really confusing, but I'll try my best to explain like what happened and what's going on. Yeah, so let's get into it. Basically, Finks, Nobunaga, and Phaeton are trying to get at Marena. I think I know. Obviously, all the Phantom Troop members are trying to kill Hisoka. I'm a little confused on why they're going after the Haley family. That the whole mafia thing. That's the reason why the Succession War arc is confusing. Is because the Phantom Troop and with Karapika and all that stuff, the mafia being brought into it with the princes and all that, it kind of confuses things because it's like we're meeting all these new characters. It's just very confusing, but anyways, Finks and Nobunaga are talking about, how to get into the room because there's some kind of like teleporting thing that Marena has set up, that one of her minions has set up, that she uses to teleport members from the other mafia to a secret room where she kills them. So it's a very OP ability indeed. So they basically go over some things. They also have some random mafia guy that they took with them, and they're basically using him as the bait to get into the rooms. So yeah. At first he's like, "Can I go home? I want to leave." But he goes into one of the bathrooms, and they notice that that's not the room. And then the next panel, he starts running away, and no, not Finks. Phaeton basically chases after him, and yeah, it's like yeah. So he walks into another room actually, the room where they're about to go into the portal, where like the room where if you step into, you're gonna get teleported. So he steps into another room, looking around. He's like, "There's nothing there. Can I go now?" Because he's like, you don't want to be captured by the Phantom Troop. Then he's like, alright, I'm dipping out of here. He starts zipping down the halls. And then frickin' Phaeton, like, basically teleports in front of this man's. All devious, talking about right or left, pick one. And, New World Review actually mentioned that this is a very dark thing after what just happened with Sarasa. So, yeah, it's a very dark thing to see how Phaeton kind of transitioned into, a torturer. But maybe we'll get some backstory with that. He also mentioned like, it would have been cool to see how the Phantom Troop like got up to where they killed the Kurta clan. That would have been really cool. But yeah, hopefully we'll get more to that flashback. But they bring him back, and then he's about to step into the room, and when he does, it basically teleports him away. And Nobunaga basically says that it's a landmine type Nen ability. Basically, if you step in a certain spot, like when you step into the doorway, you get teleported into the room of murder. I'm gonna just say the murdering room. So they basically get into an argument now, Finks, Phaeton, and Nobunaga, about who's gonna go, into the room and fight. Then uh, Henry and this other guy, he's the guy with the glasses. I know he was hyped up. I cannot think of his name right now, but he's there. He basically he basically brings them Henry, and then I think he leaves after that. I'm not sure, but Henry pulls up, and he's gonna help the Phantom Troop with the mission to take out the Haley family, because that's their mission. All the three mafia members are trying to take out the other mafia families. So then Henry, they have some kind of tracking device to see where they are on the boat, where it teleports them, which is a top G ability right there. W plan. Then this is a very funny scene here. He basically takes the tracking device and turns it into an oyster. Henry does. It's a very OP ability. The panel looks awesome, where there's like some kind of lightning and aura. It's really cool. And then basically, he hands it out. He's like, "Does anybody who's gonna swallow it? You know, if you're going in, you gotta do it." But then Nobunaga basically jumps away, and he's like, "I'm not eating that. You know, I can't handle no shellfish. It makes him nauseous." And then, Phaeton does the same thing. He's like, "No, I'm not doing that." I noticed that Phaeton's the way he talks in the manga is kind of childlike. Like he says, "I know eat anything someone else touch." So I noticed he has some kind of he has that kind of voice in the anime. Like, you know, he talks low, and then he talks, I don't know, slow with his words, but he kind of talks like a baby in this one. I don't want to gel the OP badass Killua's brother. Um, yeah. So then Henry swallows the oyster, and he's like, "All right, I'm gonna man up and do it." So he jumps straight into the doorway, and he's like, he's out. He's out of there. And yeah, and then Finks and Phaeton and Nobunaga are there with the tracker, like they're looking to where he would be, because they're gonna just run there, you know. Um, yeah. So then Henry gets into the room. He kind of falls, which is kind of like a battle tactic, because when Henry falls to the ground, if there was someone there waiting for him, they just run in and kill him when he falls to the ground. And we've seen this like a while back with some other guy that got teleported here, where he tried to grab like his knife or something, and then he was just out of there. But yeah, we see him fall, and then you got to look at the room, and it's like torturous. There's blood everywhere. There's like, you know, broken stuff. You know, mops and brooms on the floor. There's like weird. There's like an arrow. There's also a poster to reference the movie The Fly. I've never watched it, but someone told me that. I've seen it on TikTok. Um, yeah, so he's like, fresh blood on the floor. I need to stay on high alert. So he's like, all right, I gotta go now. Yeah, it's a beautiful double page spread. You get to see everything that's happening. Henry kind of gets like off guard because he sees Nobunaga also got teleported, so he jumps away. And they're talking for a little bit, and he's like, you know, he's asking Nobunaga like, why are you here? You know, I'm not valuable to you. I could have just did your dirty work and you would have been out of here. But Nobunaga's like, nah, I'm just gonna help you. I'm gonna be a real bro. You know, I got you. So there's kind of a joke of how they became best friends in a way. So yeah, they're talking for a little bit. They're talking about like what, you know, they're looking around the room trying to investigate like who's there and what's going on. They also introduce each other's names and stuff, and Nobunaga's like, you can just call me, you know, my normal name. You don't gotta say Mr. Nobunaga. Then we get to see a fire ass drawing of Nobunaga. He looks really serious in this one. Like he looks kind of like Musashi Miyamoto from the Vagabond series. He looks really cool. Nothing like he does in the anime. He looks like a real samurai in this one. He's kind of buff too. Yeah. So he's trying to slice at the wall, and he realizes that it's a nen wall, so he can't get through. So he's basically like slicing away, like, you know, I gotta try to get out of here, find a way out, look to see who's there, you know, because they're in a trap. They're in a trap, so of course they're trying their best to get out. So then they figure it out. Like I said, you know, there's a lot of talking in this, and we all already have this knowledge, and you know they're trying to discuss it themselves. And then we see Marena, a very, you know, devious picture of Marena. And if you guys aren't that familiar with her, she's basically the Helwe family's, the boss, the leader of the fourth prince, his daughter. So she runs the mafia for him. She's the one with that OP ability where it's kind of like a game, like I don't know, some kind of battle royale kind of thing. Whoever gets the most kills gets the most OP ability. So yeah, so they're talking, that means their security will be tight. They're looking around, Nobunaga. They're talking, getting acquainted with each other because they're on a mission right now. So then, the last scene of the chapter, they go over to the 3 doors that are there. And they look through most of them, and it's just random rooms. And then the last door, so then the last door is basically, the torture chamber. Or it was I remember this. It was, a room where they, dismantled the bodies. And then there was these, dissection room. Yeah, it was the dissection room. And there was these 2 sisters, the dissection sisters. So, in the last scene of the chapter, you just see Nobunaga and Henry looking at this room. Like, what the hell is that? Because it looks like a normal room, but you see a table and there's, blood and stuff like we've seen a while back. So yeah, it's obviously, a scary thing, and maybe next chapter we'll see more fighting, because I'd really appreciate if we got a lot more fighting. Overall, it was a decent chapter. It was just a lot of setup, I like that we got some more scenes with Nobunaga, because his whole character in the anime really was, you killed my boy Uvogin. And he had that scene with Gon and Killua. That was his big role in the Phantom Troop. Now he's actually doing something and fighting. Like, we got to see his whole ability, the Jujutsu Kaisen, blue-haired girl ability. That's what I compare him to. I'd love to see some feats in the next chapter, where he's fighting, and then we could actually compare him to other anime swordsmen. That would be really cool. I love the new design too, with the vagabond references and stuff. Yeah, it was pretty good. And Henry is obviously really OP with his ability to take objects and turn them into animals. That's a really cool thing. Yeah, so let's just, hope for the best with them. It was also seen on Twitter that in chapter 400, Kurapika is going to be returning. So the next chapter is just going to probably be a rushed kind of thing with this, and then we're going to hop over to Kurapika. So we're not sure. A lot of people are speculating that these 2 are going to die. And obviously, I want to see more of Nobunaga. Henry's a badass character. We'll just see. Unless it's just going to be, we're going to be left on a cliffhanger for how long. And let's not do that One Piece stuff, So, anyways, guys, this was a good chapter. Let me know down below, what do you guys think? Do you like, Henry? What do you think about Nobunaga getting more, screen time or whatever? And then are you excited for Kurapika coming back? He's one of the main 4. Maybe Leorio. He's my personal favorite. But anyway, it's been SSJ Benj. Peace.